Welcome to the Resilient Path with Fran Evans. Thank you to the ones who are walking this path with me and to the ones joining for the first time. It is good to have you here. Today's message is from Genesis 23, titled, Sarah's Death and Abraham's Integrity. Genesis 23 opens with, Sarah lived to be 127 years old. She died at Kiriath Abba, that is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. And Abraham went to mourn for Sarah and weep over her. This is 37 years after Isaac was born. Sarah got to see Isaac grow up to be an adult. Sarai was 65 years old when she left with Abram. From the time they left, Sarah and Abraham were together for another 62 years before her death. Abraham mourning and weeping over Sarah is fitting when I consider their journey together from Genesis 12 through Genesis 23. Sarah was Abraham's half-sister and wife. She followed Abraham when God called him and told him to leave his country, his people, and his father's household. Sarah struggled with barrenness. Sarah protected her husband. Sarah opposed the Lord. Sarah laughed when she heard the Lord telling Abraham that she was going to have a son. Sarah lied to the Lord and said she did not laugh because she was afraid. Sarah had Isaac when she was 90 years old, just as the Lord promised. For 62 years, Sarah and Abraham's journey together included fear, barrenness, conflicts, promises, laughter, the birth of Isaac after 25 years, joy, distress, separation, and the love of the Lord God. Verses 3 through 18. Then Abraham rose from beside his dead wife and spoke to the Hittites. He said, I am a foreigner and a stranger among you. Sell me some property for a burial site so I can bury my dead. The Hittites replied to Abraham, Sir, listen to us. You are a mighty prince among us. Bury your dead in the choicest of our tombs. None of us will refuse you this tomb for burying your dead. Then Abraham rose and bowed down before the people of the land, the Hittites. He said to them, If you're willing to let me bury my dead, then listen to me and intercede with Ephraim, son of Zohar, on my behalf, so he will sell me the cave of Machpelah, which belongs to him and is at the end of his field. Ask him to sell it to me for the full price as a burial site among you. Ephraim the Hittite was sitting among his people, and he replied to Abraham in the hearing of all the Hittites who had come to the gate of the city. No, my lord, he said, listen to me. I give you the field, and I give you the cave that is in it. I give it to you in the presence of my people. Bury your dead. Again, Abraham bowed down before the people of the land, and he said to Ephraim in their hearing, Listen to me, if you will. I will pay the price of the field. Accept it from me so I can bury my dead there. Ephraim answered Abraham, Listen to me, my lord. The land is worth 400 shekels of silver. But what is that between me and you? Bury your dead. Abraham agreed to Ephraim's terms and weighed out for him the price he had named in the hearing of the Hittites, 400 shekels of silver, according to the weight current among the merchants. So Ephraim's field in Machpelah, near Mamre, both the field and the cave in it, and all the trees within the borders of the field, was deeded to Abraham as his property in the presence of all the Hittites who had come to the gate of the city. The Hittites had great respect for Abraham. They referred to him as a mighty prince and my lord. They offered him the choicest of their tombs and told him none of them would refuse him a burial place. But Abraham bowed down before the people of the land and insisted on paying for the field. Abraham was a humble man. He wanted to pay the full price despite the Hittites offering it freely. Abraham was a right and just man. But this is not surprising or out of character for Abraham. In Genesis 14, when the king of Sodom said to him, "Give me the people and keep the goods for yourself," Abram said to the king of Sodom, "I have raised my hand to the Lord, God Most High, creator of heaven and earth, and I have taken an oath that I will accept nothing belonging to you, not even a thread or the thong of a sandal, so that you will never be able to say, 'I made Abram rich.'" In Genesis 21, Abraham gave Abimelech 7 lambs as a witness that Abraham had dug the well Abimelech's servant had seized. This shows that Abraham was not a man to take what was not his. Abraham wanted to know that he had full ownership of what belonged to him. I can understand why he wanted to pay the full price for the burial site and secure ownership. Accepting permission to use the land is not the same as owning it. Ownership leaves no question about who it belongs to. Abraham was mourning and weeping the loss of his wife. It is important to him that he owned the land where he was going to lay his wife to rest. Verse 19 through 20. Afterwards, Abraham buried his wife Sarah in the cave in the field of Machpelah, near Mamre, which is at Hebron in the land of Canaan. Abraham now owns the first piece of land recorded in Canaan. The field, the cave, and all the trees within its borders belonged to him. And this was where he buried his wife, Sarah. Now, who was Sarah? Genesis 11, Sarai was from Shem's line. Sarai was Abram's wife. Sarai was barren. She had no children. Genesis 12, Sarai was a beautiful woman. Sarai told the Egyptians that she was Abram's sister. Sarai was taken into Pharaoh's palace. Genesis 16, Sarai told Abram, "The Lord has kept me from having children. Go sleep with my maidservant. Perhaps I can build a family through her." After Abram and Sarai had been living in Canaan 10 years, Sarai, his wife, took her Egyptian maidservant Hagar and gave her to her husband to be his wife. Sarai told Abram that he's responsible for the wrong she was suffering after Hagar got pregnant and despised Sarai, and may the Lord judge between you and me. Sarai mistreated Hagar. Genesis 17, God said to Abraham, "As for Sarai, your wife, you are no longer to call her Sarai. Her name will be Sarah. I will bless her, and I will surely give you a son by her. I will bless her so that she will be the mother of nations. Kings of peoples will come from her." Genesis 18, Sarah laughed to herself after hearing the Lord telling Abraham that she was going to have a son in her old age. Sarah was afraid, so she lied and said, "I did not laugh." Genesis 20, Sarah told Abimelech that Abraham is her brother. Abimelech took Sarah. Sarah and Abraham had the same father, but not the same mother, so they are half siblings. Sarah and Abraham had an agreement to say, "She is his sister," or "He is my brother." Sarah was completely vindicated by Abimelech. Genesis 21, Sarah became pregnant and bore a son to Abraham in his old age, at the very time God had promised him. Sarah said, "God has brought me laughter, and everyone who hears about this will laugh with me." Sarah told Abraham to get rid of the slave woman and her son, for the slave woman's son will never share in the inheritance with my son Isaac. Genesis 23, Sarah lived to be 127 years old. Sarah died at Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. Sarah was buried in the cave in the field of Machpelah near Mamre, which is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. From what I read from Genesis 11 through Genesis 23, Sarah was not a malicious woman. She was an imperfect woman who experienced fear, failure, barrenness, laughter, sorrow, and joy. Her mistakes had consequences, but nothing in the text suggests that she intentionally sought to do evil. Overall, Sarah appeared to have been a loyal wife and a good woman whom Abraham loved and who the Lord God Almighty favored despite her imperfections. Sarah and Abraham's relationship. I would say Sarah and Abraham was committed to each other. They listened to each other. They both decided to be deceptive when they deemed it was necessary. Both decided to bring Hagar into their marital bed, and they both had to deal with the conflict and consequences from their decisions and actions. They loved each other and stayed together through fear, conflict, 25 years of barrenness, birth, laughter, joy, and until death. The Lord God Almighty in Sarah's relationship. What the Lord did for Sarah. The Lord inflicted serious diseases on Pharaoh and his household because of Abram's wife, Sarai. The Lord changed Sarai's name to Sarah. God healed Abimelech, his wife, and his slave girls, so they could have children again, for the Lord had closed up every womb in Abimelech's household because of Abraham's wife, Sarah. The Lord was gracious to Sarah as he had said. Sarah became pregnant at the very time God had promised. God told Abraham, "Listen to whatever Sarah tells you, because it is through Isaac that your offspring will be reckoned." The angel of the Lord acknowledged that Sarai is the mistress of her household, and told Hagar, "Go back to your mistress and submit to her." What the Lord said to Abraham and promised to do for Sarah: "I will bless her, and I will surely give you a son by her. I will bless her so that she will be the mother of nations. Kings of peoples will come from her. Your wife Sarah will bear you a son, and you will call him Isaac. My covenant I will establish with Isaac, whom Sarah will bear to you by this time next year." The Lord and the two angels asked Abraham, "Where is your wife Sarah?" The Lord said, "I will surely return to you about this time next year, and Sarah your wife will have a son." Why did Sarah laugh and say, "Will I really have a child now that I'm old?" Is anything too hard for the Lord? I will return next year, and Sarah will have a son. Yes, you did laugh. Genesis 11 through Genesis 23, the Lord spoke directly to Sarah only once. Now this is the best part for me. The Lord God was wonderful to Sarah. Although the Lord did not interact with Sarah through dreams, visions, or repeated appearances, the Lord was active continually in her life through Abraham. When Abraham told Sarah to lie repeatedly and placed her in danger because he was afraid for his life, the Lord intervened. The Lord protected Sarah. The Lord blessed Sarah. The Lord God fulfilled his promises to Sarah. Sarah gave birth to Isaac at the age of 90 after barrenness. Once again, the Lord God favored Sarah, and he loved her unconditionally. After everything that I have shared about Sarah, what stands out to you most about her life? Leave a comment and let me know. I encourage you to read Genesis 23 for yourself and learn about the Lord God Almighty. Trust the Lord. Walk by faith and not by sight. The Lord God will never forsake you. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned. Genesis 24 coming soon.